Hello everybody and welcome to Bhyve, and this is part 3 in our tutorials on Bhyve. That's the FreeBSD hypervisor. Last episode we installed Windows Server, and the one previous to that we went into the details of how to set up a server for production use with Bhyve, which is what we are currently logged into behind XChat. Now the reason I've left my hex chat up is a simple reason. As you can see, I was querying what Linux to actually try and install on this server. So I've just got a great idea because someone's asking me how to get Ubuntu Live Server AMD64 installed onto Bhyve. They seem to be having some trouble with it, so I have just grabbed it and I'm going to go with that. Now I have to admit, I've never actually installed Ubuntu server onto anything, and while I remember, I should actually give props to mrelc. I hope this tutorial helps you at least. So yes, we're going to have a wander down and see how this is going to go. Now, I have ran a Linux on this production server before, which was Gen 2, because I was testing it for a different location. But I do not believe that the actual initialization files are right for this system, so we are going to have to do a little bit of editing. So I'm going to copy Gen 2 to Ubuntu server, and I'm going to have a look where I've got things here, and I'm going to create a store. This will be the actual primary hard disk of this server, and it seems that I'm using base VMS, and I'll call it Ubuntu server, and I will make it 20 gigabytes. I'm sure that's plenty. No idea actually, but we'll see. And then we're going to pop into the Ubuntu server startup file and have a look around. Now that installation media is definitely wrong, but I'll have to go and look at the path. In fact, I can just swap down here and have a look in Media Linux, and there we have it. Ubuntu Live Server AMD64.ISO. So let me pop up here first and edit our path to our installation media. That should be right. And we're going to need to edit the paths here as well because they don't look right either. So where did I actually put that hard drive image? Now it's been 2 seconds, I've actually forgotten. So let me just do a ZFS list, grep Ubuntu, and there it is. I have an absolutely savagely bad memory. So right, there we have it. That should be the correct path. The ISO is already right because it's echoing from the image up there. All the network configuration we know is already right. For the grub Bhyve, we are going to use 2 gigabytes of RAM. And we're not trying to boot it off the hard drive yet, so we'll delete that. And we will try CDO. And we also don't know the path to grub because we've never seen this Linux before, so we'll just leave it like that, which should bring up the grub menu and actually show us. That is if it can't find it automatically, which it may do, we never know. Looking down the rest of the file, this all looks fine, apart from that path can't be right because we've just changed that above, so I should actually make that all one variable at the top of the file. That would make a lot more sense. There we go. So that is now in the correct position as well. We will change the memory that's in use to 2 gigabytes in here as well. 8 CPU cores. All the rest of that looks reasonable. If there's any problems in there, it won't be anything dire. So let's try and start it and see what happens. Hey, first got grub straight away. Nice. Install Ubuntu server. And we've got screen smear. I haven't started a VNC viewer for this one yet. I am just going to see if it's going to boot over serial, and it looks like it's going to. Nice. And it's even starting a secure shell server for us. Even better. What's this? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that wasn't too bad. Choose your preferred language. We'll go for English. Not quite. Nearly. There we go. And done. I really need to find something to do on these channels in the actual installs. Yeah, install Ubuntu. Looks good. If you need to use... okay, fair enough. Looks good. Use an entire hard disk. That's the one we connected earlier, 20 gigabytes. Yep. And it wants to set it up like that. Looks great to me. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, continue. Enter a username and password. We'll put in, oh, my real name, why not? Your server name is Ubuntu server. What? I can't put uppercase characters in? Okay, fair enough. Ubuntu server. And a username. Paul. And a password. Super secret password. And super secret password. Import secure shell. No. Looks good. Oh, I see. So it actually does the set while it's installing. Ah. Let's have an interesting little idea. Makes it a little less boring. These are popular snaps in server environments. Okay. Well, Docker's not very big, so and Postgres is tiny. So okay, let's just say it's going to be a Docker machine. Docker for Snappy. The snap allows you to use the full compilers of Docker in Snappy. Oh, it's already installing it for me. Oh, I see. Okay. So, how do I... Oh, do I have to choose a version? Stable. And then I presume I get a close? Oh, yeah, then let's put a star next to it. Okay. Yep, looks good. Finished? Oh, okay. That was a lot quicker than I actually expected. This might be the shortest video yet. And in a minute we're going to get kicked back to FreeBSD's command prompt when it's finished doing its little shutdown routine. Ah, there we go. I had to tap enter then to actually get back here. I don't know if it actually caught the actual return before it came back. Now that I've actually done that, we don't want it to boot from CD. So we're going to go back into our Ubuntu server boot file here. And we are going to change grub Bhyve. And what we are going to do is we are going to tell it that we want to boot off HDO 0. Now this is likely to fail and bring back the grub menu. Yep. And I'm going to type ls and I can see everything that is installed. Now we're not bothered about CDO, we're only bothered about HDO. And it looks like it's created 2 GPTs. Now if I look in HDO GPT-1, are you going to have any Bhyve or grub files for me there? Unknown file system. Okay. Oh, there we go. Init, blah, 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 blah. Is grub in there as well, by a chance? No. Okay. Did you put it in boot, maybe? They're all... Ah, there we go. Boot. Grub. So, our path here is HDO GPT2 boot grub. So, I'm just going to make a note on my other terminal. That is when Tmux will listen to me. There we go. And pop back up here and exit, which will then crash out and mess up your terminal. And the way to fix that is to exit the terminal and go back in. Even though it does put you in a different directory, which is, you know, quite unpleasant, but not the end of the world. Now we are going to edit the Ubuntu server again, and I'm going to use those same paths in my initialization. I'm going to use HDO, what was it, GPT-2. And I'm going to tell it that it needs to look into boot grub. Now that should be all it actually requires. I say crossing my fingers. Please work. Is that actually an error or? Yes, that's actually an error. In fact, that's actually frozen. Lovely. Or at least I assume it has. Or is it doing something? Oh no, it's doing something. Right, so it does actually start up with an error. It doesn't bring up the grub menu and boot straight in. That could be a problem. I may have to look into that. What's it doing? Is it really busy? Not really. I have no idea what this is doing right now, but it appears to have booted. So it appears that for some reason our grub path is not quite correct, but that's not a major problem. We can edit that. Can I Control C this? Or is it meant to be doing something? What happens if I send Control C to it? Nothing at all. Okay, well. Did it say that it started secure shell? Not really. You never asked me for a root password thinking about it. What does it think it's doing? Interesting. Everything appears to have loaded okay. The same as any Linux system, you may actually end up having to ask that Linux community if there is a problem. See, the actual version of Grub Bhyve is a real copy of Grub and is really, really loading. So errors that pop up like that one did are potentially purposeful in the fact that they may actually do that on an actual physical machine. See, this is a server copy of Ubuntu, and I imagine that it's not actually meant to show a Grub menu, just for the simple fact that it's a server and it should boot immediately into the operating system, which is what this did. As for what it's doing right now, I have no idea. It seems to have got no limit on it though, which is a pain. And I don't seem to be able to do anything about it. So yes, we have got a problem here. Oh no. I'm going to scroll up with that in a minute in Tmux and see what that was about. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. What was it just... Oh, maybe it was actually generating all the secure keys. Failed to start waiting for network to be configured. Interesting. Seems it's got an IP address. I wonder if this is actually trying to get an IPv6 address. That would make sense. But once again, this is a Linux configuration problem, not a Bhyve one. It could just be that it is waiting for a IPv6 address, or it's just checking out the network to see what's around. If you know differently from this, and this is actually a Bhyve problem, let me know and I will fix it, because I don't know what that means and I don't know this operating system. But I told it super secret password and I'm in. I assume because I haven't got a root password, I can just sudo to root. Right, who am I? I am root. Okay. And I'm connected to the internet, so there's your network configuration problem. Expletive. Yes, so that was a lot shorter than I assumed it would be, and a lot easier. Yep, I don't know what else really to say about that, other than, obviously, right now, what I'd obviously do is I'd do a ZFS list, grep Ubuntu, and then I'd do a ZFS snapshot, and I'd go working, maybe, with a V, of course, why not? I'm going to tell this to reboot so I can exit out of Bhyve. Wow, that went down quick. And I'm going to start it back up and actually just see if those problems have resolved themselves. Now it's already booted once. There's that grub problem, but we don't care about that because it goes straight through it anyway. Or at least we think it does. Now, is it going to wait sitting for the network? I don't think it is. Oh, God, it is. Okay. So we know what's going to happen here. It's going to time out at 2 minutes, go straight to the command prompt, and then be completely happy. I do not know what this is. I assume there's some host, looking at this, is some host name lookup, or it's waiting for an IPv6 address, or it's a Linux problem. It's not a BSD one. So this is Bhyve running Ubuntu server. If you're really having trouble with this, I can always send you a ZFS snapshot of the install and give you the secret password I was typing. But it should really not take too long to actually get working. Okay, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.